Hello, everyone. I wanted to just briefly talk about why it might be that we aren't seeing more footage of what people claim to have seen, or the extraordinary events that people claim to have witnessed at the Bayside Mall in Miami, Florida, on January 1st. I have gone back, and it's mostly been on BitChute that I've looked up witnesses. I've typed in their search engine Miami Mall witnesses, or Miami Mall witness, and over the last few days, a few more have trickled in. In some ways, it's the eyewitnesses that I find the most interesting. Now, I know there are inherent credibility questions. First of all, were these people even really there? Secondly, if they were there, are they telling the truth about what they saw? Are they just chasing clout, as the young people say, or are they telling the truth? I understand that, but on the other hand, I find that hearing somebody who was supposedly there, seeing things for him or herself, that usually makes a more compelling story than just showing some grainy footage and having someone blather on about how either this is definitely aliens, or how this is all a hoax, and how this is Project Bluebeam, or whatever else. It's usually quite a bit more interesting to hear what people who actually saw things or claim to have seen things, what their stories are. I've always felt that way for just about every kind of event. It's the eyewitnesses who make the most interesting viewing. So it seems that, according to a couple of people who were there, or who claim to have been there, and again, it's a subjective thing in some ways, whether you trust somebody or not. Some people, to me, just don't sound like they can be trusted. Others, it sounds like they're telling the truth, or they throw in little details that just don't seem like. It would seem like somebody who is lying about being there wouldn't have included this particular detail or other, because it's not really that it's sort of tangential to the subject. For example, the one eyewitness that I saw talked about how he has an autistic cousin who had a word that he said when he felt there was danger, and it was I think it was, I can't remember what the word was, but it was just like that he would include that detail about his autistic cousin saying a word when there's danger. It's like that adds a certain layer of credibility. That's, like, to me anyway, it gives a more of a sense of, again, something that somebody who's just making it up probably wouldn't bother to tell us. They would probably just skip ahead to the really lurid details and give us what we want to hear, quote unquote. So anyhow, what I'm most concerned with is what these people have said, and this, again, more than one person have said this, which is that when they ran away from what they saw in the mall, whatever it was, and they came outside, and of course, we all know as a fact that there were hundreds of police cars there for supposedly just a bunch of kids acting rowdy, throwing firecrackers around, being juvenile delinquents inside a mall. It seemed like very much of an overreaction, something that wouldn't have taken but maybe, I don't know, 2 or 3 or maybe 4 cars at the most, So what these people claim, and again, they said this kind of casually, was that when they came outside and the cops saw them, the cops actually said, let's see the footage. Did you have footage of it? Let me see your phone. And they actually, according to these people, were going to delete the footage from their phones. Now, how is that any business of the cops? How is it the cops? What? How are cops given the authority to erase or delete or force people to delete footage off of their phones? I don't think there's nothing illegal about taking video recordings from your phone, and so that's very clearly an abuse of power. And if this is true, and if this was happening, it might explain why you're not seeing more footage of what actually happened. Now, as to what actually happened, I'm not saying any one thing. I'm not saying it was aliens. I'm not saying it was Nephilim. I'm not saying it was inexorable eldritch H.P. Lovecraftian creatures or anything like that. I'm not please understand, I'm totally agnostic about what went on inside the mall. But I think we should all perk up our ears at hearing that police were stopping people and asking to see their phones and asking them to delete any footage that they took of what they saw. Why would that be? First of all, it's obviously an abuse of power, but I guess more importantly than that, what is it that they don't want us to see? What is it that they don't want the world to see? Because people can obviously take their video footage and post it somewhere, like on YouTube or anywhere else. What is it that, if it's true that the cops were stopping them, what is it that they were stopping them from showing the world? And why? These seem like reasonable questions to me. So, there you go. What do y'all think? Let me know in your comments below.